It's December 16th, 2021, and you are listening to the Take the Over podcast presented by Live Casino. Let's go. Let's do this. All right, so we'll wait for the introduction to stop. If you're watching this right now, you're probably seeing a little bit different side of. If you're watching this right now, you're probably seeing a little different side of the show. Obviously, it's just me in my basement this week. Drew is in Philadelphia on a work trip, so thoughts and prayers to Drew. I wouldn't wish going to Philadelphia on my worst enemy. So Drew's there. Hopefully he makes it back safely, and we'll get him back on the show next week. We do have a great show for you. We have a lot of really good NFL lines this week, and I will say that last week, looking back at last week, we went 9-9. So not our best week, but not the worst week either. 9-9 is one of those weeks where you can take it, you can kind of move forward from it a little bit, and you didn't get killed too much. We did have some good winners in there. Also got screwed on a few, just a bad break. So we started off 3-1 in the Steelers game. We hit the over. We got that plus 350, Najee Harris and Justin Jefferson touchdown. That was plus 350, odds boost by FanDuel right there. And then the Steelers, we took them at plus 9.5, over 38.5. Hit that as well. Lost the Johnson over 79.5 receiving yards, I think by like 3 or 4 yards. So it was super close there. Just unfortunate. We're trying to do our best here. I wanted a big week last week. We did not have a big week last week. And we hit Dallas minus 4.5, the Packers minus 11.5. Packers, amazing comeback last week against the Chicago Bears, which I think if you're going to make a statement like Aaron Rodgers did where he says, I own you, you kind of need to be able to back that up there. So, and for the first time in a while, I have hit a Bet the Has pick, and Drew was on that Bet the Has pick with me. So we were both winners there at minus 9.5. Most importantly out of all of this, Uncle Tony was so right. All right. If you remember last week, we had Lord Tabai on for the UFC fights, which he was like 2-3 on the UFC fights. But we also had Uncle Tony give us a Bet the Has pick for the NFL, and he said, take the Kansas City Chiefs minus 10. There's no way they're going to lose to the Raiders. It'll be a blowout, and Uncle Tony came through for us, boys. Uncle Tony came through for us. So, good news. We have a pick from Uncle Tony this week. He is going to be, there's a video pick of it, so there will be that pick as well. And since Drew is not here, I thought we would do something a little bit different. A little bit more fun. This will be a shorter episode since it's just me. I don't want to bore you with stats and things like that. Usually when Drew's in the studio with me, we have a conversation. Today is just picks. We're just going to do picks. It'll be a shorter show, and we'll get everything locked in and ready to go for the weekend. Great weekend coming up. We have a game tonight, Thursday night game. We have 2 Saturday games. This is when the NFL season gets fun. 2 Saturday games, and then a whole slate on Sunday, and of course a Monday night game. Just want to double check here. Yes, so before we do get started with the picks, take a moment and let's take a moment and thank our sponsor, Live Casino and the FanDuel Sports Book. We definitely appreciate both of you guys for letting us do this show. The Live Casino is still an amazing place. If you're looking for a place to cheer your Steelers on as it gets down to the stretch here, not out of their conference or their division by any stretch of the imagination. That division's kind of up in the air with Lamar being hurt, and the Browns going through COVID hell right now. I just got a report before we started recording that Nick Mullins is going to be starting for the Browns this week. So do with that information what you will. And then the Bengals, who knows what the Bengals are going to do week to week. So this division is all over the place. So the Steelers could actually not only win their division, they could sneak into the wild card, but they could also win their division and get a home playoff game. So if you're looking for a place to cheer your Steelers on down the stretch, Live Casino in Greensburg is the place to do it. They have everything. They have They have a million sports books there. They have, a million places to pick sports there. They have kiosks all across the casino. They have the FanDuel Fan Cave. As college bowl games get into effect, you're going to be wanting to go there. Check out some college bowl games, college basketball, NBA, NHL. Cheer the Penguins on. Wherever you're looking to enjoy sports, the Live Casino in Pittsburgh. Live Casino Pittsburgh in Greensburg will be your choice. Also, as sports betting becomes legal in more and more states, which it seems like it is, hit up all the live casinos that you can and place some bets across the country. I know I was traveling, doing shows like I do. I try to always drive through states that I can bet in, so that way when I spend the night somewhere, I don't have to miss out on any action that we could be getting. So just pay attention to that as well. All right, with that all being said, let's get into the picks. Welcome to Take the Over. Again, it's a solo show, just me, and since we've been under 500 for the first time in all season, we've been under 500 2 weeks in a row. Which last week we were 500. We were 9-9, but the week before that we were like 5-7, 4-7, something like that. So we're still under 500 in the last 2 weeks. I decided, you know what would be what would be interesting, what would be fun, what would be a good time is just to let a coin pick. You know, maybe we're not great at sports betting. Maybe we just got lucky the first couple weeks. We were hitting at 60% of our bets for the first 65% of our bets for like the first 8 weeks, 9 weeks of the NFL season. So we're still way above 500. But I thought maybe we're just getting lucky. Maybe it wasn't us. Maybe it was just a luck of the draw. So what I'm going to do is I have a quarter right here. What we're going to do is we're going to flip the quarter. Heads will be the home team. Tails will be the away team. And then whatever the coin picks, I will try to justify that pick. I picked, how many games did I pick here? I picked Thursday night, both Saturday games, and then I think 2 1 o'clock games, 2 4:30 games, and then the Sunday night game and the Monday night game. So what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games. 9 games. Then I'll give you some serious picks, and then I'll also give you some overs to bet. Our show is called Take the Over, so definitely want to make sure you get some good overs to bet there as well. All right, so let's go ahead and just jump right in. Tonight we're starting off with the Kansas City Chiefs, who look to be all the way back, going against the Los Angeles Chargers, who have kind of been up and down. Kind of been more up. They're dealing with some injuries at guard, tackle. Some other key parts of their offense are out, and I believe they have a corner or a safety out as well. So I'm really hoping the coin tells me to pick the Chiefs, because I really feel like the Chiefs are gonna be where it's at this week. But let's find out. So we got the Chargers will be heads. The Chiefs will be tails. Not gonna look, and God, I hope it's the Chiefs. But we're not gonna go against the coin. We're not going against the coin. Tails. It is tails right there. It's a New York quarter tails, which means that the Chiefs are your pick. I agree. Kansas City has seemed to find it. Has seemed to found it this last couple weeks. They've been really hitting a stride, which is what you would expect from an Andy Reid team coming down the stretch. Patrick Mahomes looks to be all the way back. I'm really a fan of this pick. It was -3. I believe it's still -3 right now. Go ahead and lock that in. Chiefs -3 tonight. Also, I have like a 7-leg parlay, player prop parlay for this game. If you want to get into that, it'll be on our Instagram page. So if you're interested in hitting that up, go ahead there. I think it's plus 3,000 odds maybe. So probably won't hit. Still fun. Chiefs all the way. I just don't think. I mean the Chargers are lacking at defense right now. They're giving up a lot of points, and the Chiefs are actually not. The Chiefs buttoned up their defense really well over the last. They're probably the best defense in the NFL over the last 6 weeks, 5 weeks. So really came into their own there. That's why I really don't love the over here. I will never take an under. I will never take an under. I promise you, life is too short to take unders. I will never take an under here. So I would just avoid the total completely. I'm going Chiefs -3. Lock that pick in. I got to write these down so I remember them because I did not make any of these picks here. This is the coin. The coin is picking the Chiefs -3. Saturday, we have our first game of the day is the Raiders at Cleveland. Cleveland has been absolutely decimated with COVID. They've lost, I think, like 6 or 7 guys to COVID. It just came out that their backup quarterback is out now with COVID. Case Keenum out with COVID. Baker Mayfield's out with COVID. Their coach is out with COVID. Literally everybody and their brother has COVID in Cleveland. Thoughts and prayers. I hope everybody's doing all right. I want to make sure everybody is safe and whatever the case might be. But not a good time to be a Browns fan when you need a win against a Raiders team who has been up and down kind of all year long. But this is going to be a tough one for the. I really think it's going to be a tough one for the Browns to win. So we got, I think it was -1. Let me double check that line real quick while we're looking it up here. It was actually, I think with the news that just broke, it probably changed a bit. So logging into the FanDuel Sports Book app, and they have it at Raiders -3.5. Raiders -3.5. So the Browns will be heads. The Raiders will be tails. Here we go. Oh, I hope it's not the Browns. It is heads, which means the coin has picked the Cleveland Browns at -3.5. All right, look, I'm not going to go against the coin here. What I will say is at -3.5, hold off on your bet on that. All right, hold off on your bet on that. Let's see if anybody else comes out with COVID. Because the more players that the Browns lose, the higher that line is going to get. Now, I'm not saying that the coin has spoken. It has said the Browns are going to win this game. Cover this game. Didn't say the Browns are going to win this game, but it did say the Browns are going to cover this game at +3.5. If you give it a second, probably lock this one in on Saturday. If a few more players come out with COVID, you're probably going to see that line move a little bit. Also, with the new NFL rules that they're implementing, if a player is asymptomatic and tests positive for COVID, they can get back a little bit quicker. So you might see some players hop back into the lineup that might not have been there, which means the coin might not be wrong here. All right, the coin might not be wrong. It is picking Cleveland +3.5. Cleveland +3.5 is what the coin is picking. My justification on that is hopefully they get some players back. Otherwise, I mean, it's not like the Raiders are a powerhouse. The Raiders have lost games they probably shouldn't have. They've won games that they probably shouldn't have either. But the Browns can cover. The Browns can cover this game. Next game is a game that I probably wouldn't touch, but it's a primetime game. It's a game that's on, like the only game that's going to be on at the time. So you might as well throw some money on it. Otherwise, what are you doing? Why even watch it? Patriots at the Indianapolis Colts. The New England Patriots have probably been the hottest team in the NFL over the last 7 weeks. I think they've won 7 in a row. So they've been the hottest team in the NFL over the last 7 weeks. Just goes to show you Bill Belichick is never out of anything, even though what it looked like probably wasn't going to be a great season for them after starting, 2-4. They're now 9-4, won 7 straight. Mac Jones, and they're doing it in weird ways. Like Mac Jones threw 3 times 2 weeks ago for 20 yards, less than 20 yards. Against the Indianapolis Colts, who are playing better football. I don't know how they started out as poorly as they did, but they are playing better football now. So we got Indianapolis Colts giving 2.5 points as a home team here. So the coin is going to tell us heads home, tails away. Let's see here. Heads, it is home. We're going Indianapolis Colts to cover the 2.5. I don't hate it. Indianapolis is playing some great football right now. So I think, and I do think that Mac Jones is going to be. He's going to have a rookie game. Mac Jones is going to have a rookie game. He looks amazing right now, and Bill is scheming around him really well. But he's going to have a rookie game, and maybe that's this week. Carson Wentz has to take care of the football. More so than that, they just need to run the ball down the throats of the Indianapolis Colts. Because if you do that with Jonathan Taylor, you have a really good shot at winning this game. Also, prop bet until this bet doesn't hit. Until this bet doesn't hit, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep taking it. That was a shitty way to word that. Until this bet doesn't hit, I'm going to keep taking it. Jonathan Taylor, anytime touchdown scorer. I think that's a pretty much a lock most of the time. I will tell you right now that the Patriots are 19th in the league at defense against the run. When you got a guy like Jonathan Taylor, who, by the way, the Colts are second in the league at running the ball, I think this is a game that the Colts can control the clock, feed the ball to Jonathan Taylor. Let's not get fancy here. We're trying to win games. We're trying to get into the playoffs. Let's go. Give the ball. Don't let Carson Wentz do something stupid. Because every time Carson Wentz drops back to pass, I'm like, who the fuck knows what's about to happen? He could throw it 400 yards in the game, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, or he could throw it for 120 yards in the game, 4 interceptions. You don't know. You don't know what bag you're getting with Carson Wentz. So let's hope, for the sake of this bet, Indianapolis, lock it in, -2.5. I'm really interested to see how this coin does because so far it's picked the Chiefs, the Browns, and the Colts. We'll go ahead and skip that game because we're going to talk about that game later in the show. So our next one is the Titans at the Steelers. Pittsburgh's actually favorites in this game. Let's make sure I'm reading that right. It is now a pick'em game. Let's see what it is on FanDuel. On the FanDuel Sports Book app, they have the Steelers game. They have the Steelers getting a point. Steelers getting 1. So Steelers home team getting 1 point against the Titans. So Steelers will be head. Titans will be tails. Let's see what the coin thinks here. Titans are tails. The coin is going Titans -1. I'm going to go ahead and say Titans money line. We're not going to get fancy with it here. Titans money line, that's probably the right call by the coin. The Steelers have played okay the last couple weeks. Ben is clearly, this is his last year. It's his last ride. The Steelers do need to win this game for them to have any chance, I would think, going down the stretch to get into the playoffs. But Titans got weapons back. Their defense isn't playing awful. They held the Jaguars last week to 0 points. Pitching a shutout's hard in the NFL. I don't care if it's against the previously coached Urban Meyer finger licking chop house dudes or if it's the Rams. You know what I mean? Pitching a shutout is hard in the NFL, and they did that last week. The Steelers' offense hasn't been electric. I mean, it really showed up last week in the second half against the Vikings, but that first half, they were down 26-0. You know what I mean? So Titans have the ability to just kind of control the clock here a little bit. But also, it's not like the Steelers. The Steelers, you're going to see a lot of 3-and-outs from them, unfortunately. They have good players. They have just a lot of bonehead decisions in that locker room. I think there's a lot of turmoil after what happened with Chase Claypool. The team might not be on the same page. Steelers always find a way to find amazing wide receivers in the draft. A lot of them don't pan out. I mean, they pan out for a little bit, and then something happens. Antonio Brown, now Chase Claypool. You get these diva wide receivers who light it up on the field, but for whatever reason, Juju Smith-Schuster was having. Everyone thought he was the next. He was the next Antonio Brown when he was playing alongside Antonio Brown. Turns out he never really lived up to that potential as a number one guy. The Titans got to be good up front. They have to be good up front. They got to get red. They got to limit Najee Harris there, and the rushing attack by the Steelers. But I do think Titans money line is the appropriate play here. The coin agreed with us. So on to the next game here. The next game we got the Seahawks at the Rams. The Rams are giving 7 to the Seahawks, who have not been playing well. I think Russell Wilson's probably his last season in Seattle. Probably Pete Carroll's last season in Seattle. Let's see. 7 points is a lot. A touchdown's a lot in the NFL. Let's see. Let's see what the coin thinks. Heads will be the Rams. Tails will be the Seahawks. The coin says heads. The coin says heads. We got the Rams here at -7. Again, that's probably the way I would have gone. So I just think that they're getting right at the right time. It's a game that Seattle. It's a game that the Rams have to win, stay in the playoff hunt. Matthew Stafford wants to put a staple, wants to finish strong, go down the stretch. This is a game to do that. Your wide receivers are playing well. I think OBJ may be a little nicked up. I'm not sure if he's going to play or not. Even if he doesn't play, I think they have enough talent to work that Seattle defense without Jamal Adams. Which, by the way, thank you, thank you, Seattle, for those 2 first-round picks. Sincerely, from every Jets fan, for Jamal Adams, because he's not really panned out there. The Seattle defense has not been great. It's away, so we're not going to have to deal with the 12th man. Rams -7. If you don't want to push, take it down to 6.5. Not going to kill you either. Rams -7 there. Next game we got is the Packers at Baltimore. Packers at Baltimore. Packers at Baltimore. Baltimore's getting 5.5. Lamar injured. I hope it does not. I really hope the coin doesn't pick Baltimore here, because that would be a tough one to justify. Let's see. Packers are going to be tails. Baltimore's going to be heads, and the coin says tails. Packers at giving 5.5. Yeah, let's go ahead and lock that in. Packers -5.5 here. Aaron Rodgers, and I know both sides are banged up. I know the offensive line's banged up, but it looks like Bakhtiari might be back this week, which would be a big boost for that offensive line for the Packers. If you're getting Lamar Jackson, it's not going to be a healthy Lamar Jackson, so I don't think it's going to be. They're not going to have to worry as much of like keeping a QB spy there. He doesn't want to get injured again because they still are in a legitimate spot to win their division and get into the playoffs. So it was the right call. Packers -5.5. Packers -5.5 here. Let's see here. We got the Saints at the Bucks, our Sunday night game. Saints at the Bucks. Bucks are giving 11 points to the Saints with Taysom Hill. 11 points is a lot. I will do my best to justify this whichever way it comes out. 11 points is a lot. It's probably not a game I would take otherwise, but it is tails, which means they're taking the Saints. Taking the Saints -11. Here's the justification to that. Saints +11. Saints +11. All right, cool. So the justification to that is you got Taysom Hill. The Saints still have a good defense. They have a decent defense. They were not as healthy as they were last week against the Jets, so they should be They weren't healthy last week against the Jets, so they should be getting some guys back. They got Alvin Kamara back, who is still just really good at football. So I don't think they win this game. I think the Bucks do win this game. However, if they can mix it up with a mixture of Taysom Hill runs and Alvin Kamara runs and control that clock a little bit, kind of keep Brady off the field, because if Brady's on the field with all the weapons they have, this can become a 2-score game really quickly. However, Saints +11. Saints +11. Is it +11 still currently? Is that where we're at currently? Whoops. Yeah, +11. All right, and that line's probably not going to move a ton unless some weird news comes out, which it could, because COVID is taking over the NFL this week. Saints +11. Lock that in. And we got the Vikings versus the Bears. Bears are +5 now. Bears are getting 5 points. Vikings at the Bears. Bears are getting 5 points. Let's see where we're at here. It is heads, which means it's saying that the Bears are going to cover. So we got Chicago +5. Bears defense isn't bad. The Bears defense. We gotta try to justify this, all right? Because if I were a betting man, because I'm a betting man, I would have probably leaned Vikings after watching what their offense did against the Steelers last week. But the Bears have a good defense, all right? Justin Fields showed that he can be competitive in big games like he was last week when they played against the Packers. But this week they're taking on the Vikings. Vikings have a tendency to let bad teams back in and backdoor covers, all right? That's what we're praying for right now, because Justin Fields is going to make mistakes. Probably if you can get Justin Fields for an interception, it's probably a really good. Probably go ahead and lock that in as a prop bet. Justin Fields will throw a pick. The Bears defense is good, which means they can force Kirk Cousins to make a few mistakes, which is what we're hoping for here. And then we just need the defense to collapse like it did last week. +5, we're right in there. we're good to go. So here's our picks from the coin, just to review. We got the Chiefs -3, the Browns +3.5. Hold off on that one. Indianapolis -2.5. Titans money line. Rams -7. Packers -5.5. Saints +11 and Chicago +5. All right, that's the coin. That was on the coin. All right, I did my best to try to justify those picks. I do have 3 serious picks that I kind of looked at this week and that I liked. If you know me, if you've been following the show for a little while, you know that I like to tease totals and lines for the same game. Okay, kind of make a parlay out of the same game here. So here's a few that I like this week. Carolina +17.5 over 37.5. That was at -104. The Bills have not been blowing teams out of the water recently, and they do struggle against good defenses, which is what Carolina has. Now, Carolina's doing a weird thing where they're using P.J. Walker and Cam Newton. I guess it's just because Cam doesn't know the whole playbook yet. I just can't see Cam. I just can't see the Bills going up by 3 scores. I just can't see the Bills blowing them out by 17.5 points, right? I don't see it. I think it could be a 10-point game. I think it could be an 8-point game. But I don't see the Bills blowing out this team, especially because we don't know the health or the concern of Josh Allen right now. He's in a walking boot. It looks like he is trending towards playing. Didn't look like there was a lot of long-term injury effects there, so I don't think he's going to miss any time. So we're going to go Carolina +17 over 37.5. Now, second game, Jets +18.5 over 35.5. First off, for the Jets to be, I'm a Jets fan, but for the Jets to be, they have not been great, but 10 points is a lot for Miami, a team that also is not blowing teams out of the water, right? So I think they keep this within 3 scores all day. That over 35.5, that's going to hit. I think it's a lot closer. I think it's probably a 20-24 game. 20-24 game. So I think that over definitely hits 35.5. I think the Jets keep it way within that 18.5 range and cover. Jets +18.5 over 35.5. That's like -113, which is basically a straight bet at -110 odds. So third one is the Bengals +8.5 over 37.5. The Bengals are my pick to win the AFC North. I think that they are going to finish strong down the stretch. They have a ton of playmakers. Their defense is overperforming. They got weapons like Higgins, Mixon, Chase, Burrow, Boyd. These guys are built to make a run. If they get into the playoffs, they can actually surprise some teams and win some games. They also lose some games they probably shouldn't. But if they're getting points at Denver, which I don't understand. So the Bengals +8.5 over 37.5. The Broncos are not a consistent team. They start off 3-0 and they lost 5 in a row. They don't have a long-term answer at quarterback. Teddy Bridgewater can win you games. He can also lose you games. So we don't know which guy we're going to get there. So those are my 3 picks. It is going to be the Carolina Panthers +17.5 over 37.5. New York Jets +18.5 over 35.5. And the Bengals +8.5 over 37.5. So you're just teasing up those underdogs. You're just teasing them up. You're teasing the over down. Hopefully it lands somewhere in the middle there. And then I'll give you some overs because the show is called Take the Over. So it's right up there. Let's give you some overs here. Washington football team and the Eagles over 44.5. It looks like Heineke is going to play. The Eagles are a good team. I don't know if they're a good team, but they are a team that gives up a lot of points to bad teams. They gave up the first 3 drives for the Jets were touchdowns in that game. So and they're also averaging 26 points per game this year. So that helps out a lot. That gets us over halfway there. I think that the spread is a little large at -7. I don't think the Eagles are a touchdown favorite. They shouldn't be a touchdown favorite because the Washington football team can surprise some teams, and I think we've seen that over the last 4 games, over 4 of the last 5 games. So But I do think this gets over 44.5. Washington football team over 44.5 against the Eagles. All right. Baltimore, Green Bay. I know there's a ton of injuries here. I think there's some COVID going on, but the Packers have shown that they can score at will. The over is only 43.5. Packers can put that up by themselves, especially with Aaron Rodgers, especially with Devontae Adams, especially with Jones and Dillon in the backfield. These guys can put up points. If Lamar if he is injured and he's stuck to just being a pocket passer, I don't hate that either, because sometimes I think he tries to extend plays with his feet and ends up taking a sack or throwing a bad pass or getting hit and just running out some clock. So if he gets stuck as being a pocket passer, they're going to adjust the game plan for that so that the routes are a little quicker. So you're going to see guys get open a little bit earlier, or those quick plays developing, which could lead to some quick strikes. Over 43.5. I know that there's a lot of injuries in this game. It's December football. There's a lot of injuries in everybody's game. But this might be the last chance you ever get to bet a Packers over at 43.5. So go ahead and lock that in. Also, love the Bengals over 21 points. I'm big on the Bengals this year. Over 21 points. I think that could honestly probably be the bet the Haas pick. Over 21 points, 3 touchdowns for that team with those weapons. Bengals over 21. So my overs are Washington football team, Eagles over 44.5, Baltimore, Green Bay over 43.5, and the Bengals over 21. Now, Drew's not here to give us a bet the Haas pick. He did not give us a bet the Haas pick. I have a bet the Haas pick for you guys, and I'm hoping that this brings some luck to my boys. I'm a Jets fan, and I know the Jets are not good at football this year, and I know I picked them at plus 18.5 over 35.5. I'm telling you, this game is going to be a one-score game, so give me the New York Jets plus 10. All right, 10 is a lot of points. Tua is he's not a great quarterback. They're still not sure he's the answer long-term down there, so I don't believe that he's going to be the guy that gets you over the hump, and he's not going to blow a team out. I could be wrong. It's happened a lot with my bet the house picks if you look back at the record. But what I will say is the Jets, outside of wide receiver, the Jets are getting healthier. Michael Carter's coming back. It's a big boost to the backfield. They can run the ball. Again, control the clock. Keep the offense off on the field. Bryce Huff is getting back, which he's got a serious potential as an edge rusher. Between him and Franklin Myers on the edge, that's going to open up some space for Quinn and Williams in the middle. And honestly, with Quinn and Williams in the middle, getting to the quarterback, if they can get some pressure on Tua, I think they have a really good shot at getting him to make some mistakes. Additionally, looks like Jalen Waddle is going to be out. They just lost some other skill positions to injury or COVID. I'm not sure. I just got an alert today saying that Jalen Waddle is going to be probably out of the game. I don't think that they are going to win by double-digit points. My prop bet for this game is Mike Gesicki, anytime touchdown scorer. The Jets have a tendency to give up big plays to tight ends. So give me Mike Gesicki, anytime touchdown scorer. Also give me the Jets for my bet the Haas pick. Jets plus 10. Zach Wilson puts together a good game. They might even win this game. Uncle Tony was electric last week. Uncle Tony came in and said, I'm going to give you guys a pick that's going to change your whole life. Uncle Tony picks winners, is what he does. And I reached back out to Lord Tabai and I said, we need to pick from Uncle Tony. The fans deserve that. The people that listen to the show deserve an Uncle Tony pick. So let's see what that Uncle Tony pick's going to be. All right. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, Uncle Tony picks winners. Uncle Tony Drew just texted me and said his bet the Haas pick is Raiders -1. Obviously, that's not where the line is anymore. So we'll just go Raiders money line for Drew's bet the Haas pick because that just came out that Nick Mullins is starting. So here we go. So Uncle Tony is going to give you all some free money here, Uncle Tony. So let's roll the money. Let's roll the fucking money. All right, that's the intro you wanted me to say. Let's roll the fucking money, Uncle Tony. Let's see what you got.
What's up, everybody? It's your Lord Tabai here, coming to you live for the pick of the weekend, NFL. Yes, I am going to tap out your bookie. Yes, I am the UFC odds maker of the year, but I do have the NFL pick for Uncle Tony. I know it's long awaited. Everybody's going to need the pick. I'm going to help you guys out today. I will tell you this, after this winner, Uncle Tony will appear on the show. We're going to black out his face, keep the identity safe of Uncle Tony, because he still wants to go out with his family. He still wants to go out to restaurants. He doesn't need the paparazzi. He doesn't need the cameras and flashes in his face. Uncle Tony picks winners. Uncle Tony doesn't lose. So after this, Uncle Tony will be 15-2-1 on the year. I might be selling him short. It might be 15-1-1. With that being said, let me give you your pick here. Your pick this weekend is the Buffalo Bills minus 10.5. Buffalo Bills minus 10.5. I want you to buy it down to 10. Knock the half point off. Go ahead and go with your Buffalo Bills. Now, this is contingent on Mr. Allen playing. We need Allen to play. There's no COVID. There's nothing crazy going on. If Mr. Allen plays this weekend, he wasn't a boop. The guy has the heart of an absolute lion. That's not my words. That's the words coming from Uncle Tony. You want to make money. You want to get rich. You want to live like me. You want to live like Uncle Tony. Pick the Buffalo Bills this weekend. Minus 10. By the half. Talk to you soon, boys.
Buffalo Bills minus 10. Uncle Tony, lock it in. I'm not going against Uncle Tony until he loses. I'm telling you right now. I'm not going against Uncle Tony until Uncle Tony doesn't give us a winner. But he's 15-2-1, so he doesn't give losers very often. Let me. Yeah, he doesn't give losers very often. So, with that being said, Uncle Tony's pick is minus 10 for the Buffalo Bills. Here's my hot take. I think there's two teams where the line is very undervalued. Actually, the coin picked one of them. The coin did not pick the other one. I didn't give it the opportunity to. The coin picked one of them, the Titans at -1, the Bengals at +2. I think both of those teams, my hot take for the week, both of those teams -6.5. So you take the Bengals from +2 to -6.5, and the Titans from -1 to -6.5. That parlay gets you at +954, and that's good enough for me. So I will take them at +954, and that's it. That's the show. Sorry, it's a weird one this week because of Drew being out of town. It's just me riding solo here. The coin. Let's see if the coin did better than we did. The coin probably did better than we did. We do appreciate you guys listening to the show. Good luck this week, and make some money. And we will see you next week for some Christmas football, a Christmas edition football. I'm all in on that. All in on that. Good luck this Sunday. Let's take some money from FanDuel and pick some winners here. Thanks for listening, everybody. We hope you enjoyed the show. As a reminder, you can